Okay, we're recording. The meeting is called to order. Would anybody like to do the land acknowledgement?
I can do it, Brooke. I might need help with some pronunciation.
Yep, okay.
We would like to acknowledge the history of the traditional territory on which this university stands. We would also like to respect the long-standing relationships of the 3 local First Nations groups on this land and place in southwestern Ontario. The Ottawa-Durin neutral peoples once settled this region alongside the Algonquin and the Haudenosaunee peoples and used this land as their traditional beaver hunting grounds. The 3 other long-standing Indigenous groups on this geographic region are the Anishinaabe peoples, also referred to as the 3 Fires Confederacy, including Ojibwe, Ottawa, and Potawatomi nations. The Haudenosaunee peoples, also known as the Iroquois people, or 6 nations, including Mohawk, Oneida, Cayuga, Onondaga, Seneca, and Tuscarora, and the Lenni Lenape peoples, also referred to as the Delaware or Munsee or Munsee. The 3 First Nations communities closest in proximity to this university are Chippewa of the Thames First Nations, part of the Anishinaabe, Oneida Nation of the Thames, part of the Haudenosaunee, and Munsee Delaware Nation, part of the Lenni Lenape.
Great, thank you. Okay, I'm going to do a roll call and confirm quorum. Whenever I bring up a document on Zoom, it loves to be slow. Okay. I know I can edit this. Here we go. Okay, so me, present. Being so slow. Oh my goodness. I might just take it over Zoom and then fill this in later because it's being really slow for me. Okay, Rebecca, our AVP Student Support.
Here.
Commissioner Varaguna.
Here.
I'll get better at it. Commissioner Prentes. I do believe she is regrets. Commissioner Elves.
Here.
Commissioner Bubba.
Here.
Commissioner Gillett.
Here.
Commissioner Anka.
Here.
Commissioner Hodé. Commissioner Ricker.
Here.
Commissioner Park. Commissioner Weber.
Present.
And Commissioner Zhang.
Here.
Thank you. Okay. I'm just going to stop screen sharing for a second to make sure there was no one in the waiting room. Okay. It doesn't look like there is. Okay. Go back to screen sharing then. So, comments from the chair. I would like to welcome our new members. So at this meeting currently, there is Angel and Libby. So Libby is a new Pride and Allyship Commissioner. As well, Angel got transferred over from the representatives to here. She's the International Student Commissioner now. So I'd just like to welcome them to the team. I'm super excited to have a full portfolio again. It honestly feels great on my end, and just being able to have someone to reach out to whenever I'm doing little projects. Yeah, I'm super excited to get that started as well. Libby might want to talk about this later on, but Pride Committee starting up as well. So if you have any interest in that as well, we are going to start that soon, get some fun events for Pride Week in November coming up. Attendance, I think I wanted to give a nice shout out to you guys. You guys have been doing really well with attendance. There's been a couple members that even if you guys do, usually you guys email me, which is great, or if you guys are planning on missing a meeting, emailing speaker and governance. But yeah, I just like to give a nice shout out. All you guys were at training, all you guys went to the general meeting. It was great. Approval of the draft minutes. So we have the draft minutes from, oh, I just remembered something, from last week. Emily, Astoria is supposed to be at this meeting, correct?
What's that?
I'm trying to talk to Emily, but I think she's probably gone. She was on.
LOL. Just kidding. 1 second. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I had to mute myself. I had to unmute myself 2 different ways. That's ridiculous. Okay. Sorry. What was your question?
I just like to confirm that Astoria is going to be the secretary for this committee.
Yes, really great news for Associate Vice President Newton. We did have 2 people volunteer at the Communications Committee, get on their level. They actually wanted to campaign against each other for it, and I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. One of you guys can do advocacy. They were ready to campaign against each other to be Secretary of the Communications. Apparently comms likes that kind of stuff. Can't relate over here. But yeah, so Astoria has agreed to be the committee secretary. So it's very important for you guys to be sending her the recording more than ever because she's not here in person. But really nice for comms to be very engaged regarding that. And so Rebecca doesn't have to do it anymore. Yay, Rebecca. Yeah, I know, I'm hyped for you. I'm hyped for you. You kind of were voluntold for that.
Yeah. So then I'm going to guess how it's going to work is Astoria is going to watch a recording of this then. She's not going to show up to the meeting in person.
That's correct, yeah. So like you'll just have to send her the video and then she still has the same timeline of having it up for the next meeting.
Okay, sounds good.
Is Lisa going to be sending her the template or do you need me to do that?
I think Lisa is going to be in touch with everybody. I can check with Lisa right now though and get back to you like over a private message.
Okay.
Yeah. So I thought that was some fun news. Yes. So this is just the meeting minutes from last week. I'll go through them quickly. If you notice anything off that maybe you said or that I said that's incorrect, mostly for attendance wise, make sure your name's on it. That's a fun fact. Just make sure I did it right as well. So I'll pause for a second.
I went like word for word, just saying.
No, this looks great.
That's dedication.
That's what I thought too.
My goodness, I love it.
They're so satisfying to look at. Like, I suggest you always look at these meeting minutes because it's so cool to see it written back. Like, I thought it was so cool when I saw my first one, like just seeing like what you said and what everybody said written out. And like, it's just genuinely really cool. And then also like, it's your right to read this and look back and make sure that we did write what you said correctly. So this is a written format of what you said. So you need to make sure we're not misrepresenting what you said because this is going in like a file.
Yeah. So usually it's best to also look over this document before the meeting, just so if you do notice anything fishy, you can yell it out, or I won't take time every single time to get the, to look over the approval of the minutes.
Yeah, that's why it says approval of draft minutes, because you have to approve it here. It's not like set in stone until you guys approve it at the next committee. So like that's why it says approval.
Yeah. So on that note, oh wait, I need to get approval of the agenda first. So can I get approval of the agenda? Anyone can do it.
Do we just say Commissioner Weber gives approval?
Yep. And can I get a seconder?
I'll be a seconder.
Great, thanks.
Commissioner Newton.
Okay, and can I get approval of the draft minutes?
Commissioner Baba says yes.
Okay, great.
Okay.
And I can second Commissioner Gillett.
Okay. Okay, I had your name pop up, Anissa, and then I can't know how to spell it anymore. B-H-A.
Yeah, it's BHA, BHA.
Okay, and then Gillett. Okay. I like adding a row in between. Okay. So for discussion, I just want to talk about this briefly. Where'd she go? Okay. So the future of this committee. So, as you may notice today, we are passing a motion, and I have talked about this in the past of updating the terms of reference for a lot of our positions in this portfolio. I'm just wondering if there's anything else you guys can see this committee doing potentially in the future, even just friendly amendments to our bylaw 1, or even perhaps, I know Emily mentioned holding her up to standard on a couple of things as well. That's a couple examples of what we can do, but if there's anything else you guys can potentially see this committee doing in the future. No. I was going to write on the Facebook, but I completely slipped my mind. So I will bring this up in the future as well. But as of right now, I do have changing the terms of reference for mature and transfer student, awareness, outreach, pride and allyship, and accessibility, just because there's a couple of flaws in there. As of right now, I'd like to change. As of now, there's also, I have to add the wellness and awareness subcommittee into every single one of the members that I took for that as well. Okay, I'll move on to the next item. So portfolio updates. So if you would like to give any portfolio updates from yourself of what you've been working on, or if you have any questions, potentially, we always have our half an hour after for open discussion outside of the committee, but if you have anything that you wanted to comment on or what you're working on and want to share with the group.
Commissioner Ricker, can I speak? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Sorry, Pride and Allyship Commissioner. So I've been working on kind of getting the ball rolling for our Pride Committee, and also just kind of like starting to look at initiatives and kind of some events that we can do for Pride Week, which is happening the week of November 16th to the 20th. So I've been kind of working on trying to get that advertised. So yeah, more information about the Pride Committee would be that we're just trying to have people come, people in the LGBTQ plus community to sit on this committee and kind of inform what Pride looks like this year, and kind of just see what their perspectives are on what they want to see. So yeah, so if you're interested in joining the committee, there's no application required. We just want to make sure we get like the voice of students when we're planning this Pride Week for them.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Libby. Yeah, I'll comment on that as well. So as of right now, it's Libby, Rebecca, and I that are inside the Pride Committee. It's super small right now, so definitely want to get a student perspective on council as well as the student body. So I'm super excited to get that started. Nivi, do you want to talk about how Volunteer Week's going?
Sure, yeah. So Volunteer Week is going, and it's it's going pretty well actually. Like I just posted like 5 minutes before the meeting for today's opportunities, and then tomorrow is like the last day, and we have like I'm posting 3 opportunities. Like an extra one. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know if you, like I talked about this in the general meeting too. I don't know if you guys have checked out the events page, or like I shared it on Brescia Gives Back too. So yeah, that's how that's going. It's going pretty well.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely commend you on that. I've been seeing you very active on social media, and I've been trying to share it as well.
Well,
So
thank
that's
you.
awesome.
Thank you.
After this meeting, I know usually we do portfolio stuff after, just because it's a lot more open discussion, but I do have some things to talk about, but I'll mention it now. Sarah, our accessibility commissioner, she's not here today, but she wants to do a survey. So I'm hoping Jenna can team up with her on that as well. Just as a little practice one, for I know that you're planning on doing a final survey, but if you team up together to do a final survey, that'd be good. Grace, I also know that you're coming up with an event as well. Do you want to talk on it a little?
Not sure where exactly I'm going with it, but I think I just want to create this theme of like wellness, obviously, because I'm the wellness commissioner, but I want a theme around it. So I don't know if I should do it, because I know you're focusing more on specific days throughout the calendar year, but I don't know if I should tie it in with almost checking in on your wellness during like this fall season, because it's, I know like midterms and such are coming up quickly. Even for me, they've started already. So just putting a theme with it and making it pretty almost, because I know like that's going to catch a lot of eyes on social media if you do that way, but not exactly sure. If anyone has any ideas, love to hear them. But also I have a question though, because October the 10th is World Mental Health Day.
Yeah.
If I did put together like a little post, is that allowed?
I did already put the post together, just because
Okay.
you're supposed to do it 2 weeks in advance.
Okay, yeah.
I messaged you the other day. But yeah, so I did already put a post together. I can get you to look through it as well, and I can share it with you once Paula comes up with the graphics. But unfortunately, these things really sneak up on us. So forms for communications, a good thing to go to is doing it 2 weeks in advance. So I did it the day before our training. But of course, I know a lot of us didn't know about the forms and stuff like that as well. But yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was
going to say.
I didn't know.
Yeah, it snuck up on us. But on that note, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, if you wanted to help me on that.
Okay, yes, yeah, that's good with me. I just wasn't aware about the forms obviously until Sunday, but for like something like that, even though it's so weird just being online, whereas last year we were in person, those forms, I know they have to be completed 2 weeks ahead of time, but even just for like a little thing like that, it still has to be requested.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll give some more updates on that. So the reasoning behind that is because we are no longer doing in-person events on council. So every single one of the portfolios is using the communications team and utilizing them to post their content. So the governance committee, when we were doing elections, is doing it. Events is also using comms. Like, all of the portfolios are now really utilizing comms this year. So therefore there is kind of a backup and there is a schedule. So it's good to plan it 2 weeks in advance, because a lot of times the comms have to create the graphics. We also have a good relationship where Paula sends me the graphics and we try to get it approved as well to make sure it is measuring up to what we would like. So yeah, it does sometimes take 2 weeks. That's usually a nice standard for them, just because the entire council pretty much is using them this year, where in the past we didn't use them all the time, or if you can, it's always great to do a graphic yourself as well, just because then I would say you're allowed to submit it a little bit later, maybe a week and a half in advance if you're making your own graphic. But yeah, that's kind of the reasoning behind it, as well as budget forms, approving the budget, or just kind of telling Chloe what you're going to spend your money on, just so we can track it a little bit more. So that usually has to get done as soon as possible. So if you are planning on spending any money, just because it is student money, we want to make sure that we're using it in the right way. And then for Kat, what she kind of does with that form is add it to a calendar that's inside the St. James. So that can be done 2 weeks in advance if you're just filling out your forms anyway. I think it's a pretty simple form. But other than that, that's all I really have on the forms. Where there's no form actually for this committee. So just tell me when you're doing an event. Like that's all I ask. Just DM me being like, okay, I scheduled my event. If it's submitted my forms, just yeah, keep me up to date whenever you're planning stuff. I've been pretty good with checking in on you guys when you're planning on doing something, just because we do have that schedule that we made in beginning of the year, which is really helping me to check in on you guys.
Also, I'm just gonna hop in. Grace, like if you need any help with anything, I'm always here. And like it's always good to get a bunch of people's like opinions on it, but especially before like submitting a graphic, because there's been some discrepancies between the council's graphics lately.
Yeah.
And just like making sure that it does look professional, and like if it is a serious topic, it
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I forget what I was going to say, but probably will come back to me.
Okay. That's why we have half an hour after this meeting to have a discussion. Okay, Emily, do you want to say some updates?
Oh, sorry, I'm not on the ball today. Long night last night. Yeah, I just wanted to give some relevant updates, like corporate and management, that are related to you guys. Maybe like Brooke is a little zeroed in, she doesn't really know about yet. Any changes to the standing committee terms of reference you guys are doing? Super excited you guys are doing that. It takes away a little bit less effort from on our part at the moment and the corporate side. So you know how the ordinary and resource members terms of reference, that giant exhibit 3, it has all the counselors on it, and it also has all of you guys and all the people that we did hire. So it's a weird policy because you guys are technically employees, like you all sat down, you were interviewed, you were hired, and then all the counselors who were elected. Technically, you guys aren't counselors on council. You guys are resource members of council, and you're just mandated to sit on council meetings. That's kind of the relationship there. The counselors are the ones who are voted in. They're those voting members. So I don't think it's correct that we should have both of them on the same little policy. And I also don't think that it satisfies your position to only have 6 lines there. Like, I don't think you should be like a 6-line thing in a giant policy. We're trying to add more validity behind the fact that you guys are hired employees. Despite being like volunteer status, you're still hired employees. So over the next 8 months, I'll be going to be creating contracts for every single position. So it's going to be a 1-page document explaining your position in very good detail. So there won't be as much discrepancies we're kind of trying to figure out right now. Also understanding this is we hit council with a giant hammer, we're rebuilding it back up. So we're on a bit of a rebuild year at the moment. So we have the opportunity to blend council however we want with the old. Forget the old, we're completely moving forward with a whole new setup right now. And so we are wanting to, so what you guys can do for me right now is, yes, do exactly what you're doing. Amend the ordinary resource members TOR, because that's the current policy we have right now. Make sure you guys outline exactly what you want your positions to look like, because right now we are setting the tone for the next 5 years of what these positions are going to look like. And so this is a really special opportunity we have right now. So like very excited that you're on this year and on this team to be doing this in the future as well. But I will be having separate contracts. So it'll say your position, who's your supervisor? That would be Brooke. If your position gets an honorarium, similar to how the AVPs does, and just outlining all those kind of things. So it'll be not just 6 lines, it'll be a giant page. Just kind of keep doing what you're doing right now and start like working with Brooke and brainstorming or doing exactly what we should be doing right now, trying to figure out exactly what you want your position to look like. Because it's not going to be 6 lines anymore, it's going to be an entire page. We're really trying to not make things ambiguous. We're trying to set your positions up exactly what they should be doing. Just one more thing from me for comms. The communications department is currently revamping their entire comms way of putting out graphics right now. So yes, some of the graphics were a little inconsistent. Some colors that weren't really our line colors. They just had a lot of like major priorities right now regarding the website and our email system. So they just didn't put as much love into pushing out comms because they wanted to make sure the content could get pushed out. So instead of taking the time to make it look super nice, they just were pushing it out. They just had their priorities there. They now do have the time to do that. So they're going to be coming up with a template on what all the posts are going to look like. So if you can, I think the comms are wanting to make their own posts at the moment just because they're trying to do a whole revamp on what things look like. So we're really trying to get consistent. So if you do want to, also they're hungry for stuff to do over there. So if you do want to delegate posters and stuff to comms, I would suggest you do that. That's it from me right now in terms of governance and management, but if you have questions, let me know.
Yeah, Paula did actually mention to me that, okay, Libby, if you have your hand up, if people have Canva Pro, Paula would actually prefer if they did their own graphics because they do have more options. So Paula said that if they do submit something, and as long as it's with the details that I already gave them, like make sure you have the BUCSC logo, use the Russia colors, then it should be fine for end for Paula.
Yeah, honestly, we're just wanting professional, like not a lot of stickers. If you do the brush of colors, got the logo, it looks classy, you're probably okay.
Yeah. Paula I did have a meeting with her Monday, and we did talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Libby, did I answer your question?
Yes and no. I'm just gonna wait back to hear from communications and see what they thought about the graphic that I posted or that I sent in. Just because I did use a brush of colors, but there are like some stickers on it, and I don't know how they'll feel about that. So we'll see.
Stickers, I feel like Paula will think it's okay.
Okay. Yeah, it's like it looks really good.
Okay.
It's not like just random stickers everywhere, but just so I know in the future, because I started planning out other ones for like later in the month and stuff. So I just want to make sure that I'm on the same page before I spend time doing stuff. Yeah.
No, I gave you the go ahead on that one just because that's what I heard from Paula on Monday. So if you do have any questions, though, always feel free to reach out to me or Paula, and we can clarify that for you. Okay. So we are going to move on to for action. I worked on this document on Monday. So this is kind of a general thing of what we're going to try to be doing this year. Okay, so motion number 1, so amendment to the Associate Vice President Student Support. I want to scroll down. And I scrolled too far. I love it. Okay. So, whereas the ordinary and resource members' terms of reference functions most effectively when it's up to date with the most current execution and authentic representation of the Russian University College Student Council, whereas the TOR for the Associate Vice President Student Support does not accurately reflect the role and responsibilities or uphold the hierarchy of this role. Whereas the current TOR states the Associate Vice President Student Support is supposed to support and assist limited positions inside the advocacy portfolio, including Awareness and Wellness Commissioner. Whereas per this amendment, the Associate Vice President Student Support is to assist all resource members of the advocacy portfolio and facilitate initiatives and civic campaigns as instructed by the Vice President Student Life. Be resolved that Council approves the following changes to the ordinary and resource terms of reference outlined by Exhibit 1 to reflect the goal of authentic functioning of the BUCSC. So now I'm just going to show you what the AVP student support TOR used to look like. Okay. So as you can kind of see here, it was, how I can say it is it was really specialized for some reason in the awareness and wellness compartment. So I changed the word wellness to advocacy in general because the ABC student support for some reason was really focused on wellness and awareness. As you can see also in 2, that it shall assist the Awareness and Wellness Commissioner. I changed it to everyone inside the portfolio. For some reason, it was really specialized when it was written. So I kind of just made it more broad. I also added I changed the name of Pride and Allyship Commissioner because AVP does co-chair the Pride Subcommittee as well. It did have something on mental health awareness, once again, just focusing on a lot of awareness for some reason. I changed it so that way they're a part of the Wellness and Awareness Subcommittee. And then I took out the Sexual Violence Awareness Initiative because that, I think I mentioned it in previous meetings. I talked to Courtney from Student Life, and it's been filtered down from Western. This used to be something that happened 2 or 3 years ago, where Western would put on a Sexual Violence Awareness Week. Unfortunately, that's no longer happening. So as a council, we have to come up with sexual violence awareness initiatives by ourselves. We no longer have the support from Brescia or Western on that. So I took that out as well, and I'll probably move it somewhere or just do it more inside the awareness commissioner's terms of reference instead, just because the AVP is kind of used as the assistant of the vice president. Like I also added some stuff about like making sure at the bottom here that it shall execute events and aid portfolio members. That's kind of what I want this position to kind of stress, where before it was way too narrow in the sense that it really was focusing on wellness and awareness, but I want to make sure that AVP student support in the future is used for the entire portfolio. So yeah, it was just kind of some small changes. But as Emily stated before, we are probably going to make these terms of reference more broad, as well as the signing of contracts as well. So yeah, that's all I really have. Is there any debate or questions? Sorry. No questions? Okay, is there any debate? No? Okay, I already have, oh, it is supposed to be switched. I already have Rebecca as a seconder just because her and I did work on this. But for in the future, I'll probably leave it open. So if you could please message me. Okay. When we're voting, if you could please message. I think I hear Emily's phone beeping. Okay. So if you please just message me for, against, or abstain now. Okay. 940. Oh, okay, I have to vote. 10-4, 0 against, and 0 abstain. Okay. I formatted a little bit weird. Okay, so this motion has passed. Oh, I don't know why it's over there. It's okay. Okay. Thanks, guys. Okay. So I'm just going to do one final roll call again. So I'm present. AVP Newton.
Here.
Commissioner Varagunen.
Here.
Commissioner Prentes. Commissioner Elves.
Here.
Commissioner Bubba.
Here.
Commissioner Gillett.
Here.
Commissioner Anka.
Here.
Commissioner Hodé. Commissioner Ricker.
Here.
Commissioner Park. Commissioner Weber.
Present.
And Commissioner Zhang.
Here.
So meeting adjournment. So I move to adjourn this meeting. Can I get a seconder?
Second. Counselor Newton.
Welcome.
So thanks, guys. I was really happy that motion passed. I need to stop screen sharing. It so does my computer, but like so much. Okay. So I'm also going to stop recording.